I have an interesting story for you this week, and I think there are a couple good lessons that came from it. So it started last week when a colleague of mine heard that a tenant was moving out of their space. My colleague knew I had a relationship with the landlord of that particular building, so they inquired to see if the landlord would entertain selling it. I reached out to the landlord to let them know what I heard, and the landlord, who apparently had no idea the tenant was moving, sent my email to the tenant. I didn't know the details of that particular lease, but I'm guessing they were up for renewal and there'd been a breakdown in the communication. As it turns out, the landlord forwarded my email to the tenant to try to get to the bottom of it. And herein lies one of the most important things I've learned in business. Use email sparingly, and try to only convey basic information when you do use it. Or as a lawyer I know once said, never put anything in writing that you wouldn't want read in court.
Just wanted to interrupt the video real quick. I'm actually on holidays right now editing this video. I'm up in beautiful British Columbia, and I thought that there's a little bit more information that I could add. Don't use email to convey anything that might be sensitive or that might be taken in the wrong context. It's very difficult in email or text messaging to convey emotion or to convey something important beyond just providing simple information. So what I would tell myself right from the beginning of my career is only use email to send factual information. And anything that's more important or requires more of a delicate touch or any sensitive information you need to convey, do that over the phone or ideally do it in person.
My email was succinct. Dear landlord, I heard one of your tenants was moving out. Do you have anyone lined up to fill it? I may have an interested buyer if you'd consider selling. Even looking back on this, I believe I acted earnestly here. I heard the tenant was moving and I emailed the client, who was the landlord, to see what his plans were. The tenant, who I've never met or even spoken to, did not respond well to this email though. They called me and even slid into my Twitter DMs, demanding an answer on where I'd heard this information from. In addition to peppering me with questions, they accused me of professional misconduct for telling the landlord something that may not be true. As they went out of their way to grill me for information, they emphatically stated that they had not signed another lease either. Before this sounds like a woe is me story, I fully understand the tenant has dynamics at play that I'm not privy to, and they're simply doing what they feel is best for their business. At the end of the day, I'm a big fan of any and all entrepreneurs. This situation is a powerful reminder of just how complex the business world can be. To get to the bottom of this story, I tracked down the source that leaked the information. As it turns out, it was the tenant's mother-in-law who was publicly telling anyone and everyone that they were moving. Incidentally, she never once mentioned it was confidential. So as I reflect back on this, I have a couple of observations and metaphors. First, if someone is getting upset that information has been leaked, there's a high probability that the information is true. Where there's smoke, there's fire. 2, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. That might be a poor way of describing the situation, but in this case, I've seen how I could help my client without thinking about the other side of the equation. While my client might be glad to have had some advance notice, I'll now have someone out there who's annoyed with me. Whether it's justified or not, they will only say negative things about me going forward. It brings up a memory I have when I told a story to a family member about how someone we both knew was not particularly well regarded, at least according to a few people who had negative things to say about him. My family member, who's not in the business world, made a very good point at the time. A lot of people in business seem to have a few enemies. Show me someone who is successful, and I'll show you a few people who hate them. It's sort of the reason why the most popular book on Amazon has a few 1-star ratings, or why the most beautiful hotel in the world has people who hated their stay there. Not only can you not please everyone, but you can't please the people you want to please if you're not prepared to have a few people who really dislike you in the process. 3, information is incredibly powerful. It's undeniably beneficial to have a macro level view of the industry, but don't underestimate the value of local knowledge. Knowing who is moving and shaking is a currency unto itself. So get out there and piss a few people off.